All right, you guys, this is the first set of our infant mini activity course. We've got Trip here, and he currently is about 12 weeks old. And all of these activities that we are doing right now are activities that you can start from birth up to 12 weeks and beyond.
Yep. So they're all really simple. You're going to need a couple of things for these activities, but there's a lot of ways that you can kind of work around. Maybe like if you don't have a water play mat, maybe you can make one, or just invest in it. Invest in your baby.
Yeah, exactly. These are fun things. I definitely follow the less is more model because we don't need a ton of stuff. We don't need the most expensive equipment. So we are a container-free family. The only container that we use is a car seat. So these are great opportunities for keeping your baby entertained while you are getting ready or making dinner or doing an activity. You can't be holding your baby because you guys know when the baby is on the floor, that's when they're working on integrating their primitive reflexes. That's when they're working on all of their developmental milestones.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, here we go.
So we are going to work on some desensitizing in his mouth. So I just washed my hands, and what I'm going to do is take my finger and just get in his mouth, in his cheeks, follow his lead. He just ate, so he's like, I don't need any food right now, guys. Getting in his cheeks, pushing against, touching his gums. You can see his tongue is starting to lateralize a little bit and follow along. Touching his lips, top lips, outside of his mouth, cheeks, stretches, just really getting him used to having different textures in his mouth, different feelings in there. Just get used to all of that. I feel like if we do this in our infants, it could help to reduce picky eating by getting their mouth ready for a variety of different textures and just to increase the awareness of what's going on in his mouth. So that's how we do it. If you have a finger toothbrush, that's a great thing to use as well. Just making sure that, if they're gagging, you're pulling your fingers out, you're pushing down on their tongue. If you're going to be, touching their tongue at all, giving them a lot of firm pressure in there. But he doesn't mind it because we've been doing it since he was probably 4 weeks old, and he is 12 weeks old now. Huh? Yeah, you like it, huh? Now you can get some of that rooting reflex to kick in here. So when I touch the outside of his mouth, he's preparing to eat because he thinks it's the rest and he wants to turn his head towards that stimulus. So that is one thing that you want to be prepared for and to watch for.
Okay, so something that's really, really great for your infants is a company called Love Every, and they do a subscription box. And in that box that you will get some of these high contrast picture cards. Now, these aren't something that your child's gonna be like, oh, what is that? But they are gonna look at it, and because it's high contrast, it is going to work on their visual perceptual systems. So as an infant, you can just set it up when they're on their back, when they're in tummy time, and just have it in their range of vision so they can look at it, and you can move it so they can visually track it. And you can just set it up, maybe have something that it can lean against so that it stays there and he can continue to look at it for a couple of minutes. Good watching it. Should we switch it and do a different one? Should we do this one? You don't want it too close. 12 to 18 inches is about a good range of distance. Good job. And again, it's great for tummy time to have in their field of vision during tummy time to watch and look at. Super simple, super easy. Really, if you don't want to get the subscription box, you guys, you can make high contrast cards so easily. You can do black and white, you can do any color that's gonna give that high contrast.
All right, for this one, we got these balloons from the dollar store filled with helium. Hi, buddy. And what we're going to do is attach it to his ankle. Ooh, and I do the nice loose bow. There we go. And then he can kick his legs and he can move his feet, and then he will watch the balloon. It's honestly so much entertainment for them. I chose the blue one because it's a little bit more contrast for him, so he can see it when it's against the light ceiling above him. And it's just really cool to watch his eyes track the balloon. And what I'll do after a while of him having it on his left leg is I'll move it to his right leg, and then his right arm, and then his left arm. So we're moving it all around his body. And good job, buddy. And I'll move it so he can really catch his eye to it, and he's just looking at me. So I'm gonna move, and we are going to see what he does.
Okay, so we are gonna show you a fun little way to do tummy time. Super simple and easy. All you need is a therapy ball. If you don't have a therapy ball, maybe you have like a beach ball. That's gonna work for an infant of this size. But we're just gonna do tummy time on the therapy ball today. So we're gonna make sure I don't drop him. Now, every baby is different. So he is currently 12 weeks. But again, every baby of every age is a little bit different. You can do this in front of a mirror, and that'll give him a great visual to look at. Or we can turn, and he can be looking at you while you do it as well. Hi. So we go back. Oh, and then go forward. Hi. And then let's prop him up on his arms just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, should we bounce? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And roll. Oh. Hi. I see your eyeballs now. Should we go side to side? Oh, good job. You can also have toys in front of him. Whatever you want that he is going to want to look at and watch. Hi, were you going to smile at me? You were. Yay, good job. Such a good smile. Such a good smile. Oh, excuse you. That was a good little burp. Did it feel so good? Now, you do want to make sure not to do this activity right after your baby has eaten, because if you think about it, you probably don't want to lay on your stomach right after you eat, neither does he. So let him digest his food a little bit, or his milk, and then go ahead and put him on the ball. What do you think? You're looking around so good. Should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is really going to work on a lot of vestibular input because he's getting a lot of movement in a lot of different directions. We could go in a circle. Whoa. My movements are pretty slow. I'm not going fast because he's still learning how to control his head. And so I don't want to jerk him around. It's just nice and slow and easy, huh? Good job. Hey, what do you think? What do you think? Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Should we do more bouncing? Should we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. When I'm bouncing him, I'm not actually putting any any weight or any pressure on him. I'm actually just using my forearms to bounce the ball. Huh. Yeah, my arms, my hands are just really lightly supporting him at his trunk. And we're keeping him nice and lined up so that he's not twisted or cattywampus. Like we've got good spinal alignment here. And then anytime he looks up at me, he's looking up at midline, or we're maybe trying some visual tracking and getting him to turn his head in different directions. Oh, where are you at? Where are you? Over here. Silly goose. Whoa. And back.
So we invested in this beautiful water floor tummy time activity mat. I don't even know what it's called. We will share a link to it somehow for you guys. But this is the first week that we've been playing with it, and he has really shown an interest in like seeing the different floating animals in here, which is cool because it's working on his visual tracking. So he's looking at them, he's watching them. This is filled up with air and this has water in it. So it's hard for him to balance. He has to work on righting himself and holding his head up against gravity as well. So there's a lot going on here with this one, but you can see him weight shifting. He's lifting up this left arm, pushing it back down, talking to the sea creatures. And with this one, you want to make sure that they are supervised. They're not by themselves. If they're having a hard time keeping their head up, then what I would do is I would position myself here and I'd be looking straight at him. If you don't have one of these and you don't feel like getting one, that's okay. You could try getting a big Ziploc bag, maybe putting 2 bags together, filling it up with water, putting some treasures inside of it, and using that for him to, you know, put his hands on. I really like the aspect of having to balance on it because it works a lot on those equilibrium reactions. But they can be here working on these skills that are necessary for development, and it's engaging for them, and they can work on those visual skills as well. Huh, dude? One other way that you can use it is by laying him on his back on it. So let's go ahead and try that and see how it goes. Let's try it out. Whoa, what do you think about that? Do you feel like you're swimming? Huh? Do you feel like you're swimming in there? Vroom, vroom, vroom. Yeah. This is a great way to work on pre-rolling skills because it kind of helps them roll side to side. So it's just a great way to change the regular feeling of laying on his back, add a little bit of cushion, add a little bit of water in there, a little bit of movement. So it makes it a little bit more challenging for him. Again, we're making sure that it is the just right challenge. So it's not too easy, it's not too hard, and he's fun. If he was miserable and crying, then I would talk to him and see if I could get him to calm down without picking him up. But I would just reassure him and let him know that everything's good. I'm here with him. We're playing together. Huh. And if he's really upset, then I would pick him up and console him. But I like to kind of help him realize that he can self-soothe, and I want to give him those skills to learn to self-soothe as an infant. Huh, you want to go that way? There you go, big guy. All right, so we are back, and Trip is about 6 months old, 6 months plus a few weeks, and we are going to work on some sideline play. So this is an activity that you can actually do before they're 6 months old as well, but it's a great activity to work on bringing their hands to midline, which is a very important skill. So if your child is struggling to maintain a sideline position, I like to use something with a little bit of give, like this water mat, which is kind of cold, to help him bring those hands to midline and play on the side like this. So the water is supporting him and keeping him in this sideline position, and he can grab a toy. There you go, bud. And manipulate it in midline, bring his hands to his mouth, which is also a very important skill. And we want to make sure that we're doing it on both sides. So this is a great way to prep your child for rolling if they aren't rolling from back to tummy yet. So you can practice this one. You can rock them side to side to help facilitate that roll to complete that preparatory activity. This is a great one for visual skills as well. Just make sure that if they are struggling and they are uncomfortable, to get down on their level and talk to them and play with them, and just try not to set it and forget it is what we call it. So sideline play, give it a shot. And if you don't have one of these water mats, try just rolled up towel, or your leg can even go here and support them. So lots of different options for this one.
Okay, so this is one of our favorites. We've shared it before on our social media, but it's gonna be a swing and crash. So we're gonna use a blanket. Trip is going to lay in the blanket. We're gonna swing him, maybe sing a song, and then we're gonna crash him onto the beanbag. Now, because he's still pretty young, he's only 6 months old, we're not gonna crash him super hard. The younger the child is, the lighter you want the crash to be. You almost want to just like set down.
I was gonna say, it's more like a set down, but we're gonna say crash when we're explaining it to him.
Now, older kids, you can definitely crash more.
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, buddy.
Okay, here we go.
Should we just do 10?
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so if you don't have a beanbag chair like we do, then the couch works great. A bunch of pillows and blankets work great as well. That increased his arousal level a little bit.
Yeah. So this is a good one to increase that arousal level, kind of help wake your kiddo up. It can also be a very calming activity if you do the swinging a little bit slower, if you sing a really calm, quiet song. So lots of ways you can make this one work.
Yes, just be aware of your child's sensory needs, and if they need that pick-me-up, if they need to be woken up, then change your speed. If they need to be put to sleep, or if they need to relax, then change how you're doing it and do it a little bit slower and softer and more relaxing. All right, for this one, we are going to make some little sensory Ziploc bags, and we're going to tape them on the floor. So we have some homemade dye-free Play-Doh in here, and I'm gonna kind of stick it together so we have good solid edges. Now this is a really good one to do when baby starts pivoting, or they're on their tummy and they're kind of just going in circles left and right. This is a good way to get them to move in that pattern and turn and explore, and it's safe. So it's safe sensory play. Obviously, you still want to supervise, because sometimes, especially if we have little teeth that come through, they can pop a hole in the bag. You can double bag them to make them a little bit stronger, more durable. You got your tape, big guy. Huh. And the fun thing about this is you can... So the nice thing about this one is you can change out your items for new or novel activities every day. So like just go around your house and see what you can find to put in your Ziploc bags that's new and different for them to explore. Now this is just some water with food coloring in it. And this is our Play-Doh here. So I'm gonna help him and have your tape. We're gonna go this way. So we're gonna transition out and go explore. All right, so this one we are just working on some tactile processing. We're going to be just rubbing some different textures on different parts of his body. So the first one, everyone has tissue paper, and he loves tissue paper. So we'll make the crinkling sound, the crinkling feel on his feet, on his arms, on his hands, and watch their facial expressions, but just make sure that you're not making those same facial expressions. So if they have kind of an adverse reaction initially, that's okay. They're babies, they're being exposed to these textures for the first time. It's new, their tactile system, their whole sensory system is learning to process and modulate the world. And we want to make sure that we're facilitating a positive environment. So we're smiling, and we're asking them questions, and we're saying, how does that tissue paper feel? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? So offer those questions to make them dive a little bit deeper. But this is a great one. Just be careful with mouthing so they aren't feeding it, because it gets pretty soggy pretty quick. So you can even do it on their cheeks, on their head, their ears. This will help with things like bathing later, washing, getting dressed. Tissue paper is a great one. The next one, I do have some Velcro. So this is the scratchy side of the Velcro. So I'm just gonna let him explore that one with his hands first, so he can kind of get an idea of what I'm gonna put on him. What do you think about that? Is it scratchy? Yeah. And this one I'm just pressing on his feet, because it's kind of pokey. I don't want to scratch him. So we're just poking. We'll try his arms. Now make sure that you're listening to their body language too. If they are having significant adverse reactions, then take a step back, move to it really slowly. Just let them explore it. Let them bring it to their mouth if it's a safe object, and just continue to practice every day, every day, every day. That's a cool one. Okay. For the next one, bud. So this is like a workout band. It's got some rubber on the inside that I thought that would be kind of a cool texture for him to feel. What do you think? But it's just so fun to watch their minds just open to all of these new things that they're experiencing for the first time. And I think that in this first year of life, you know, they're making so many new connections and they're exploring so much that it is our job to facilitate that and to help give them the opportunity to explore as many textures and feelings and sounds as possible. So I love that. I always say, put your sensory goggles on, so that's what we're doing. Okay, last one, big guy. We've got a big pillow with some fun design, some visual input, as well as these beads on here provide a new texture. So we'll put his feet on them. This is a good one you can just put on the ground when they're doing tummy time, or they're laying on their back and they can kick this one. And they can get that input without you having to sit there and hold it for them as well. So lots of different ways that you can do with that one. So get crazy and creative. Bless you.
Okay, so we are going to do a sensory bin. Now, because he is 6 months old, we're going to be very careful not to let him put it all in his mouth. So this is very much an adult supervision activity. But we've got our rice bin, and he's super stoked about it right now. But I think I'm actually going to start with his feet. So we'll just set him right up here. You got to stop reaching for it, buddy. Let's see if we can get your feet in here first, maybe. What do you think? So we love sensory bins, get that tactile input. Rice is a great one. It makes noise, which is kind of fun. And for little kids at this size and age, you get a little bit of a bigger bin and you can put their whole body in. You ready? Here you go. You gotta move your foot out of the way. There you go. Now, we could do this without any clothes on so that he gets the tactile input all over his legs and his trunk, but this is enough for now. You can also use some other different types of materials. You can use oats dried oats. That's a pretty safe one, especially if they end up putting it in their mouths. You can also use beans. I like the rice. He's less likely to put the rice in his mouth because he's not at an age where he can really get a whole bunch and bring it to his mouth. It's small enough that it'll probably mostly fall out.